I bought the cheapest e-bike I could find on Amazon. How bad is it? Will it set fire to my pants? Let's find out. Firstly, let's talk e-bikes in general. They are taking over the world. If you don't believe me, hear this. Over 25% of all bikes sold last year were e-bikes at a value of over $50 billion. Now you might be thinking, well, e-bikes are so expensive, there's probably only a few thousand sold, but no, gazillions were. And that is because e-bikes are more contagious than COVID-19. You get near one, you're gonna wanna buy it. Your friend's riding up one, sailing up a hill with a smile on their face whilst you're left puffing and panting. God forbid you try one, you'd be addicted. You feel how easy it is and how fun they are. But as mentioned, e-bikes are typically really, really expensive. Question is, do you get what you pay for, or are you paying a premium for some slick marketing and a fancy logo? Figured the best way to find out was to buy the absolute cheapest. So behold my MPTY e-bike electric bicycle. I bought it on Amazon. When you look, you will see that there is a lot of choice there, and mine technically is not the cheapest. But tempting as it was to buy the DU 14-inch electric smart folding bike, in part because it looks like a clown bike, the fact is, it seems like it's illegal to ride it here in the UK because it comes with a throttle, meaning that you don't need to pedal it in order to move. Then, actually, when I started to check, I had to take loads of e-bikes back out of my basket because they all seem to contravene UK and European laws. Hence, why I have ended up with the MPTY. I probably shouldn't start with this, but that is revolting. I mean, an absolute stinker of a bicycle. And I get not everyone is going to buy a bike in order to be able to admire it, but there is no admiring that, is there? Anyway, on to more important things. Let's talk power, shall we? On e-bikes, you either get the motor here, centrally mounted, or back here at the hub. And on this bike, it's at the hub. Now, you do get hub motors on really, really expensive e-bikes, so there is nothing intrinsically bad about this location. But you also have to say that that seems to be the only option for super cheap e-bikes. On paper, it can give you 250 watts. Now, in context, that should be enough to power me up even the steepest of climbs, but we shall see. The power for it comes from this enormous battery here, both in terms of size and also capacity. So it's got 450 watt hours in there, which, you've done the maths, at full power should mean I get just under 2 hours of riding time. So again, we shall see. There are 3 levels of assist. This motor will only power you whilst you're pedaling. You've got low, medium and high. Technically, you also have an off switch, but God forbid you try and move this bike with no power because it weighs an absolute ton. And usually when bikes get delivered to GCM Megabase, the courier walks in, swinging the box from his little finger. No word of a lie, when this one got delivered, 2 burly blokes dragged it in off the pavement, all 27 kilos of it. Now, in terms of the other bits, it was described in the advert as a sporty e-bike. Meh. And it's also got, apparently, mountain bike tyres on that are suitable for almost all terrains. So we'll see about that as well, shall we? In terms of the final finishing kit, it's got 21 Shimano gears on there, so that definitely is a good thing. Although intriguingly, the rear derailleur says it's 6-speed, but yet I have definitely counted 7 sprockets, so presumably I've got 1 extra for free. Bonus. Disc brakes on there, cable actuated, not renowned for their stopping power, but hopefully there's enough there. But then yeah, that's it. It should, despite weighing more than a bus, have enough power to power me up hills for just shy of a couple of hours. Doesn't sound bad, does it? What power mode do I want? Full power, that's what I want. Right, high. Let's do it. Let's see what it's got. Wow. Oh, that's disconcerting. You stop pedaling and it still goes. Ah! Yeah, that's not like the e-bikes that I've ridden. Normally, you stop pedaling and the motor cuts out. This one, I feel like I got another couple of seconds of free power. And it also, whoa! It also doesn't really want to start either. Okay, that's cool. We can live with that. No props. Ready, and there's the motor. And then it stops. What's weird is not having a speedometer on here. So presumably this motor knows when... Yeah, suspension's pretty good. That's what's known in the trade as a top-out clunk. Yeah. So as I was saying, normally on an e-bike you've got a speedo so that you can see how fast you're going, so you can preempt when the motor's cutting out. But there's no display on here, so I'm guessing there's a speed sensor, so it knows when legally the motor has to shut off at about 25k an hour. But, oh, there we go. Ah, there's at least a 2 or 3 second delay. Go on then. Well, first impressions. There is power going to the back wheel, so that's a tick. How the power gets there does seem to be slightly unpredictable, but it's early days yet. We'll be all right. Pootling along flat roads is all well and good, but really the best bit about e-bikes is how they propel you up climbs. So to try this one out, I've brought it to one of the most fearsome in my hometown of Bristol in the UK. This is Constitution Hill. You don't know if you can see that sign there, 1 in 6. So as far as gradients go, that's pretty severe. Can it cope? I mean, I'm slightly worried about this battery, although miraculously, I've gone from 3 bars of battery back to 4. So I'm not entirely sure that happened. I mean, literally, how has that happened? Anyway, never mind. Right, high power mode. Let's give it a go. Wish me luck. Wait for the motor. There we go. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, me and the Miatu, making quite a light work of this. Like, genuinely, I mean, this is what e-bikes are all about, helping people get up hills. Yes! We're gonna do this! We're gonna do it! Come on! Woo-hoo-hoo! Feel that speed! Yes! Oh, I feel like a cycling god. Yes! Take that, Constitution Hill. Nope. I don't know whether this is me or the gears. Hang on a minute. There we go. Smooth. I have done this before. I should know how to ride bicycles. What goes up must come down. Now, as you can see, my back brake is working. Question is, are these disc brakes actually up to the job of slowing down 27 kilos of bike and another 70-something kilos of me? Because they don't feel particularly powerful or remotely reassuring, in fact. But they're going to find out just how good they are on this descent, which is as steep as the one we've just gone up. I'm actually quite nervous about this. I mean, I'm sure they're fine, but are they really? Here we go. Ready, and 3, 2, 1, break it! Wow, yeah! Feel the power! That's the front brake. It's not the world's most effective front brake. The back brake seems to be doing absolutely fine, but the... yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, it's brand new out of the box. It maybe just needs a bit of time to bed in, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Right. Descending. Tick. Survives. Smoothly paved roads are one thing, even when they are precipitous gradients, but what happens when the city streets turn a little bit meaner? I mean, technically, as you remember, this bike can handle almost all terrains. So I have brought it to a section of cobbles to see whether or not we survive. I'm gonna go get a massive run up. See what happens. I think after that, I can officially say that this suspension is the worst suspension I've ever used. Definitely for show rather than anything else. Whoa! Did you see that? The motor just kicked in. What was that about? The saddle just poked me in the bum. Now. Right. Anyway, we've survived the cobbles. Let's see what else we can do. Almost all terrains, remember? So what do we think almost all terrains actually means? It's quite ambiguous. I mean, I'd argue that steps are a terrain that perhaps a mountain bike should be able to cope with. So well, let's take things up a notch, shall we? These, frankly, for this bike, look utterly terrifying. So, little mini stairs of doom. The first things first, I've got to get it up there. Ready? Oh. Just have a little rest. 3, 2, 1. Well, I'm mighty relieved to have got down there. Genuinely, that was how it was all going to end for me. What a way to go. Right, tick, steps, done. I'm nearing the end of our little loop now. Been pedalling for upwards of an hour, and I'm still captivated by this battery display. It goes up and down. So I'm now on 3. I was on 3 earlier, but then it went back to 4. I mean, it's not a fundamental issue, but it is intriguing that I'm getting more power, and doesn't fill me with a massive amount of confidence that the battery management system really knows what's going on. And it's an issue when you don't have much confidence in your battery, because as we've all seen in the news in recent months, e-bike battery fires is a proper thing, and they're potentially devastating as well. So what is it about a cheap e-bike that makes it more likely to catch fire? Well, effectively, it's all down to the battery. And by the sound of things, when it comes to batteries, you get what you pay for. And so inside here, like with all batteries, there'll be a series of battery cells, and then they're controlled by a battery management system. Okay? And so if you are making a product that is cheaper, you have to cut corners somewhere. So it might be that it's made out of cheaper materials, so it might be susceptible to knocks and damage that way. Or it might be that the battery management system is not as good, not as reliable. Because what actually typically causes the fires is either overcharging or over discharging. Both of those are faults of the battery management system. So what happens is that it either overcharges and then one cell might get too hot, and then that triggers a sort of chain reaction. It means that the next cells then also get too hot, and potentially they get hot enough that they then crack and they discharge a really toxic and also really flammable gas that then ignites on your superheated battery. And obviously it's a fire, but it's even worse than that because they're really hard to put out, in fact. So whilst I'm not saying that this battery is necessarily going to spontaneously combust, that is a risk you take, I think, by buying cheaper batteries. And this one does have the European safety standard on there, but when I looked into it, that's actually a self-regulated thing, so no independent body is testing these batteries. That's the manufacturer saying that they are complying with the EU rules on there. So whilst it makes me feel slightly more safe, it's not actually a guarantee. How big is the scale of the problem, you might be wondering? Well, I saw an estimate that said only 0.01% of e-bikes have spontaneously combusted, which on the one hand is quite reassuring because that's a really small percentage. On the other hand, that's 100% more spontaneous combustions than you would get in a bike that does not have a motor attached to it. Most of the fires seem to occur when the bike's been charged, so you could therefore take some pretty simple steps to making sure it doesn't happen, keeping an eye on it, so charge it whilst you're in the room, switching off the charger when you're not, don't leave it charging overnight. I did also read a story about one man who'd made his own battery, seems like a bit of a dumb thing to do, and his bike caught fire whilst he was riding it. Hence my comment about this bike potentially setting fire to my pants. So it's not because it's a good thing, it's because it'd be a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. This bike is really pants, isn't it? I mean, there are no two ways about it. It falls quite a long way short of my basic bicycle requirements. But having said that, there is one thing niggling at me, and that is while I'm not a cycling snob, and maintain that, I am very lucky in that I get to ride incredibly posh, expensive bikes on a daily basis. And so actually, whilst I think this is a very bad bike, people have clearly bought them off Amazon and seem like they really liked them. I mean, not looking at those weird fake reviews, ones that have seemed to have been written by actual people. So the fact that I think it's rubbish probably doesn't actually matter. This bike is helping people get access to some kind of e-bike tech. And so that is therefore going to help people get out of their cars, get fitter, help reduce congestion in cities, help reduce pollution, and actually have a little bit of fun along the way. And that's got to be a good thing, hasn't it? I mean, as long as the suspension fork doesn't break, then, you know, that's not a guarantee. And as long as you pay attention to the battery, and again, I am slightly more confident with that European safety standard mark on there, then yeah, I've got to give it a big thumbs up, I think. What do you think in the comment section though? Get involved. I would like to hear your thoughts on my Miatu. Yeah, get involved. And please give this video a big thumbs up as well if you enjoyed it.